Today I have Jay Handler, a dear friend from the US. So Jay and I met, I think about 10, 12 years ago. We worked together on an intense project in the region, which was not easy. And Jay was phenomenal. He actually delivered it so nicely. He actually captured the audience with his capabilities and the delivery style, and the style which actually is the learning experience. And I always talk about learning experience. You can read books, but some of the books are so boring that you don't get any learning experience. You can watch videos. Some of the videos are fantastic, and some of the videos you don't get any learning experience. So with Jay, whenever I see him, whenever I meet him, whenever I read his content, it's always learning experience. So Jay, thank you very much for sparing time today with the audience that is going to be predominantly in South Asia for you. You've been to South Asia already, um, um, and it's going to be like an easygoing conversation with you, because I want your perspective on how freelancing market is doing globally. What are some of the challenges? How did you start? Um, and the networking piece, because a lot of freelancers uh, lack in networking, and how networking really helped you grow your business using LinkedIn and Clubhouse. So briefly about yourselves, Jay, and then we'll start with some questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, but first off, thank you so much. I really appreciate you bringing me in and taking some time to have this conversation. I'm excited about it and looking forward to it. You know, I started off as homeless. Back in 1990. I was homeless in Orlando, Florida, here in the U.S. And no car, no home, no possessions whatsoever except the clothing on my back. And from there, I saw the best and the worst of humanity. But at the end of the day, my entire career has been about paying back for what I saw out on the streets that year. And there are a lot of children that are out there homeless right now. And so my mission has always been to do what I can to help end homelessness, at least among children anyway. And so I work with chambers of commerce, with trade associations, and independent businesses all across the globe. My goal is to help them build capacity so that they can eventually hire additional bodies. And every time they hire somebody, that's an opportunity for another person to step up. I may not have to hire, for example, somebody straight off the streets. I might not hire a homeless person. But for example, if I hire you, you're not going to take that job if it's a step down. You're going to take that job because it's a step up. And when you step up to that job, then there's a job that you just left that somebody else can step into. And then somebody else can step up and on and on and on. So that each job we create is 12, 13, 14 opportunities moving down. That's been my goal over the last, I don't know how many decades, but since the 90s, as a career, my goal has been to help create jobs. And so I absolutely love working with solopreneurs and helping those newer business owners get themselves kind of off the ground and really making money as quickly as possible. We don't want to be reckless, but we want to be as accelerated as we can. So learning from one another, and instead of making our own mistakes and blundering through, there's no need for that. Everything that we come across, every possible problem we've ever had, and I mean, you've seen this, every problem that we've ever had, somebody else, hundreds, thousands of other people have already experienced, and some have already solved that problem.
So Jay, my question here is that I've seen you grow tremendously on LinkedIn and Clubhouse. These two amazing networking platforms have given your business a lot of boost visibility. So quickly tell us how important networking is, how you have been using LinkedIn and Clubhouse, and what is one thing that you want to suggest people to build their network?
Yeah, networking is the lifeblood of my business, and I think it will be of yours as well. What I would tell you, as far as LinkedIn is concerned, what really worked for me was what I call creating a position of thought leadership. And so once I identified who my target was and found them, I found them on LinkedIn. That's where they were. When I was looking for Chamber of Commerce associations and professionals that were working in that nonprofit space, I went on LinkedIn and I found groups, regional, national, local groups of these folks. And it was just them. They're the only ones in the group. So what I did is I joined the groups. And then I went looking for those folks who were most engaged. And when I found those 3 or 4 or 5 people in those groups, I started having conversations with them. I wasn't asking questions. I was going directly to that point where you already know me, you like me, you trust me, even though maybe they didn't know me, like me, or trust me yet. So I would go into a room like that. And if, for example, if 𝐒𝐔𝐻𝐻 is the expert in that room, if he's the most engaged person, if everybody's asking him the questions, I might come in and say something like, hey, 𝐒𝐔𝐻𝐻, I really like what you just said to Denise over there. I would really like to talk to you about adding maybe this next piece in. Hey, 𝐒𝐻𝐻, I really liked what you said to Arjun there. I would, the one thing that I tell my clients all the time, in addition, is this. So I'm showing my expertise. I'm showing them that I'm a thought leader, and I'm helping them to understand how they can connect directly with me, so that rather than going out and getting them, they're coming to me as the expert. It's the transition, or the transference of trust is what I call it. Because you already trust 𝐒𝐻𝐻, because he's been in that group, he's been there, he's engaged, and he's one of the most engaged speakers in the group. If I make friends with him, if I connect with him, if I back him up, tell him how smart he is, and also add my own twist to everything that he's saying, or occasionally things that he's saying, they'll come right to you. It's just that simple.
Networking is essential, and networking helps you build conversations. Conversation helps you build trust and credibility, and eventually there's collaboration, that business happens. So don't jump onto business straight away. Start building your network. Jay, thank you very much for your time. You've been awesome, and it was such a pleasure to have you on this podcast. Guys, follow Jay. He is on Clubhouse, very, very active. He runs several rooms during the day, during the week, as well as on LinkedIn. You're going to learn